Multiple villains who feel like they're in different movies? Check. 2 leads that have absolutely zero chemistry? Check. Problematic racial stereotypes? Check. A dance competition? Oh, you were so close to being a perfect movie. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch The Last Dragon. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We're an 80s movie podcast. Every other week, we watch a movie from the 80s and then we talk about it. My name's Doug McCambridge. I'm one of your 2 hosts. And with me, as always, this time, eating popcorn with chopsticks, which seems unnecessary. It's Jamie Lorello.
I don't have those kind of skills. I'm not very good with chopsticks and popcorn and chopsticks. Egads. But I am wearing is it a kimono? Is that
no,
the
you're thinking of shoulder pads for football. That's what you're thinking of.
No, that's if I was showed off from Harlem.
You're exactly right. Kimono.
Is that what their little shirt outfit is? And why is he wearing the farmer hat? Like, isn't that only if you're farming rice? Maybe not. Maybe it's also if you're practicing karate.
If you're if you're culturally appropriating things that maybe you shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't quite understand his. Well, I guess I understand how into this culture he is. Mm-hmm. But boy, is he really into this culture.
Oh,
to the point where later in this movie, I'm like, oh, who are these lovely people that he's staying with? Had no idea that it was his family. Oh. I assumed his family was at the other end of the country, dead. I had no idea.
Oh, in the beginning, I was like, he's clearly left his family. But then, no, as soon as you see who he's going into, I love that that's his family. Rudy is his baby sister. Is this her first starring role?
Let's call her one scene Rudy in this because she doesn't come back.
No, well, because she's not even in the pizzeria later, which would have been adorable to see her like throwing dough in there. But
that would have been so adorable. But the way that these guys are mistreating that pizzeria, I would be afraid for her safety because these people have no problem threatening children.
Yeah, and how old is Richie? Is he? Because he looks like he's 12, but he acts like he's 37.
Oh, when he's teaching his brother, who's 10 years older than him, about sex, I was like, this is a weird movie that I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
This kid, like you said, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
But acts like he's at least 30.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going after a woman. I mean, she has got to be 26. How old is she?
Yeah,
do you think,
I would say so. Sure.
Yeah.
But just the way he acts when he's like, I don't pay for tickets. People around here know me. I got connections. I'm like, you're 5 years old, kid.
I know.
What are you doing?
Take it easy. You're not even out of grade school yet, all right? And his friends are that age, too, when we meet his little chubby Joaquin Phoenix buddy later on.
Okay. I mean, he reminded me more of Chunk from Goonies than chubby Joaquin Phoenix. Okay. So we should just get into it. First of all, everybody, go to our website. You can find all the links for our stuff on our website, goodtimesgreatmovies.com, like links to our merch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
we got merch.
Patreon, where we have bonus episodes and unedited episodes. So go check that out. But we're here talking about, is it important to say Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon?
I think
I did not do the research as to who Barry Gordy was. I was satisfied at the end when it said executive producer Barry Gordy. I'm like, okay, fine. You want to put your name above the title? Go right ahead, buddy.
I was like, is that the bad guy? Was his name Barry? I didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe it's directed by. No, it isn't. Oh, maybe it's written by. No, it isn't. Based on the novel by. It's just the executive
Based
producer.
on the novel by. What a riveting novel this would have made. Jesus Christ. Page Turner.
I would read.
Me
that
too.
That is a page turner if I ever
Yeah,
heard.
exactly.
You'd have backstories for these characters.
It'd be, very descriptive.
But
yeah.
it's from 1985, and we should say this is a patron's choice.
Yes.
Thank you, Christian, for this thing that we watched.
These little gems that he comes up with. Like, again, this movie was never even on my radar. Like, Flash Gordon I knew about, right? That was another recommendation of his. I think even DC Cab, we were both like, feels not familiar, but did you see
I
DC
think it was
Cab?
only because of Mr. T. I think it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, Mr. T was in a movie called DC
Right.
Cab, and on the poster
Right.
he's holding a door that he apparently ripped off of a cab. This was totally on my radar. I'm surprised.
This was?
Yeah, I mean, in name only.
I
but
did not.
It's one of those movies where, in third grade or whatever, kids would talk about it, like on the playground and stuff like that.
Playground Shattered made the playground rounds.
Playground Shattered. This and RoboCop were the two movies that
all
kids
right.
talked about. I decided I'm going to watch RoboCop. Not sure if it was the right decision, the nightmares that RoboCop gave me when I
No.
should have been watching this.
You would have thought you were a badass if you had just believed in yourself and done some karate.
Yeah.
You would be shooting light at people.
I thought I was a badass when I watched Karate Kid, who's got nothing on anyone in this movie.
No, he's got nothing on Leroy. I will say though that shall we just get into it then?
Yes.
Right? Because
Well, before we get into it, I always do like to mention when we have returning directors.
Oh, okay.
This
please
is
do.
directed by Michael Schultz,
Okay.
who directed Disorderlies.
Oh, welcome back. No wonder you've got away with these action sequences. I understand.
I understand.
Excellent then.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lovely opening, I will say. It's the opening of this movie is just it's Leroy, right? It's our lead character.
Yeah.
Doing his karate moves. He's chopping the air and kicking and punching, and his muscles are glistening, and there's all kinds of angles of this, including a camera that's literally on a clear floor, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
could see like crotch shots of the kicking, and
It's a nice opening credit sequence, intercut with
fancy.
bizarre chopstick motions. It's just every now and then, just chopsticks going click, 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 click,
I
and then we're
think
back
it's
to
to show you
punching
his-
and kicking.
like how refined he is, like because he could catch bows and arrows. That's what he starts doing.
Yes.
He's doing all these insane moves where you're like, clearly, all right, we're in it. We're karate chopping. And he's got a teacher who is flinging like bow and arrows at him.
Well,
and
I would say he's
catching them.
shooting arrows,
Okay.
flinging them at him. Yeah, well, no, this is important. Well, it's not important, but he's chopping all the arrows out of midair. And the very last one he catches. And this is when it is revealed that he has fulfilled his training, because his teacher goes, "How did you know that was the blue one?" And he goes, "I don't know." And his teacher goes, "Oh, you don't know? You're a genius." It's such a strange thing.
Here's my theory on his teacher. First of all,
I don't know how controversial this theory is going to be once we meet the teacher later in this movie. And I'm just like,
No.
this dum-dum was the one teaching you?
no, it equals out. It equals out.
All right.
So the teacher, as soon as you see him, there's something. You want him to be Mr. Miyagi, but he's not. And the reason he's not is that off-putting mustache. That is not something that a master of karate dons, right? Unless he's getting ready for retirement, which is what I think his teachers do. He's like, I'm just done. Yeah, you've learned it all. You don't have to learn any more. You're done. And it's clear. He's just getting ready to get out of the business. The stash is growing. He can't wait to grow the full beard and just say, Dunsies, I don't teach the karate
You know what?
anymore.
I'm glad you brought that up because it really is that. This guy wanted to retire 5 years ago, but
Yes.
Leroy would not leave. Like all of his other students left. And I mean, even at the end of this movie, he's like, I'm trying to go to Florida.
I
like,
want to go to
need
Miami.
to
Yeah.
Get out of here. And Leroy is heartbroken that his training is over.
Even now, Leroy's like, so the teacher, kind of the master, tells him, no, you're like you said, no, you knew the arrow, and now you're good. And he rips some patch off of him,
Because the teacher,
and I love it. It leaves a stain. The patch,
It's
like
a
patch.
great, it's a great weird like patch stain on his sweaty shirt, and I think you're right. I think like the night before, the teacher's like, "How the fuck do I get rid of this kid?" All right, I'll draw this circle on the back of this thing.
I'll
and
explain that
stick
his time is
stick
done,
These
right?
other patches here. I'll make a circle for the last one. Whatever. I'll rip it off him and tell him
I'll
he's
give him an
completed
old
the
belt
scene.
buckle and tell him that it's some kind of ancient dragon thing.
Hey
that'll
kid,
take
I
it to the
stole
next
this
level.
off
Yeah.
of Bruce Lee. I took it from his widow. Here, it's yours now.
Yeah, the teacher explains this whole circle of life, essentially. So, like, you've come this far and you've made it all the way around, and now it's time for you to move on to the next phase in the journey. Really, again, he's trying to say, I'm out, dude. You can have the business, you can have the little studio that we work out of where we teach our lessons. Because I can't believe, because
He
later
doesn't
we
even say that because this kid is like, I can't go out
He's-
on my own.
yeah,
I'm like
he's not ready for
giant baby. And this guy's like, oh, fine. There's someone in New York.
Oh, yeah.
His name
No,
is.
he
He doesn't even
doesn't
say his name. It's just like, go to
He
New York
says-
and find this guy.
He tells him it's the wisest man in the universe. And he just so happens to be right here in New York.
Well, I didn't even think it was right here in New York. This is what really threw me. Like, I did not know his studio was in, I don't know, Queens or something.
I
thought they were in maybe Ohio, and this guy had to travel to New York on his own to find this guy. Because I thought it was going to be a sort of fish out of water story. The way he's walking around with that giant hat on.
And it seemed like when he's walking around with that giant hat, which is like, isn't that, I know that it's like for gardening, essentially.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to be wearing it if you're just going down to Chinatown. And yeah, after his master sort of sets him free and sends him on this journey to find the wisest man in New York, you do think that this kid is just going to, like, you think that Chinatown is new to him, and that's why he's
Yes.
dressed like this, is to assimilate too. But then we find out this kid's like, I want to say Leroy might be a little Asperger's because of the way he behaves. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean it in like he became obsessed with like this culture and with like Bruce Lee. And we see him walking through Chinatown asking questions. This is an interesting subplot. The fortune cookie factory where he thinks the wisest.
I didn't know why he was there. I didn't know who these guys were. Like, it was a weird turn because I kind of forgot that he was searching for somebody. After these first few scenes, I totally forgot he was looking for the wisest man on the planet in New York's Chinatown.
And what else would the wisest man on the planet do but write fortune cookies?
I like how his teacher even tricks him at the end. Like, I think the teacher took a fortune out of a cookie, turned
Yes.
around, handed it to him so this kid would break it and be astonished that there's no fortune. You found the one cookie ever made without a fortune. You really are special. I got to go to Miami.
Yeah, I've got a flight. I got to catch it, buddy. Listen, you got to move on.
Because I was so confused. Because as you said, he walks around Chinatown asking people blah, blah, blah. People are pointing, telling him to go this way, that way. The very next scene, we're in a movie theater.
A very rowdy movie
And
theater.
everyone knows him. And I was like, how much
Yeah.
time has passed? Has he assimilated himself into the city already? I didn't know he was from there. That was the one thing that really bothered me.
Yeah, once we're in the movie theater, I'm like, that's when I was like, oh, I see. He's not a newbie to the city. And then we meet his family a couple scenes later, and you're like, oh, I see. But yeah, all of a sudden he's like, well, this movie theater that we're in, it's a rowdy ass movie theater.
my
We're
God.
watching, and all kinds of people are here. This is like all.
It's every clique known to man showed up for this movie theater
Yeah.
to this movie theater. And you said once we went to his theater, you were like, oh, this is where he's from. Once we went to his theater, I was like, oh, this is this kind of movie, because it is. We meet every character on planet Earth. We meet some wisecracking kid. We meet a breakdance erupts in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah. During the movie. So there's a Bruce Lee movie on, and the people are loving it, even though, again, rowdy group, they're making... And in the middle of it, these two dancers come out and set up a little stereo and just start dancing in the middle of the... I don't know, was this a thing that happened in the 80s? Because I know breakdancing was popular. Did people come into the middle of a movie theater and just start dancing?
And wouldn't you go breakdance to, I don't know, Breakin'? Why are you going to an old Bruce Lee movie to bust out those moves?
Because the crowd is so... Again, it's such a lively, interactive crowd that maybe they were like, hey, maybe we'll find some fans in here. But they're not. The people that are there, as rowdy as they are, they really do like Bruce Lee and they like this movie. So there's a fan that jumps out from the audience and jumps onto the stereo of the breakdancers, or the little beatbox of the breakdancers, and so they're out of here. There's a Rasta man just smoking a spliff. He's got something to say. There's these two those white trash guys that are up on the balcony that start there's just
two white trash guys,
right?
Because there's like a group of punks, and like you said, some Rastafarian guy just it's like an SNL character wandered in here.
There's a drag queen of some kind that's there trying to protect one of the other karate guys.
So
it's a
great.
Wild audience. It's a wild audience.
The only one not wild is Leroy.
Oh, P.S. Leroy is in the front of this movie theater with the garden hat on still. Just watching a movie. Just watching Bruce Lee, eating his popcorn with his chopsticks, and just, while the rest of the crowd is like, and you're right, later on they point out that this is Bruce Leroy, as they call him.
Yeah. They call him Bruce Leroy as an insult, and in my mind I'm like, dude, you totally have to take that nickname. Like, that's such a great nickname for this guy.
It's great, yeah. In the middle of this, all right, do you want to say who we get to meet?
This crew is amazing. This bad guy
This entrance is amazing.
Every time this guy's on scene, he's shot out of a cannon. Like, he is just full tilt, out of his mind. He knows what he's doing in this movie. He knows what role he's playing, and he's giving it 1,000,000% every time he's on screen.
Yep. His name is Sho'nuff.
Yep.
People chant it. They have songs about it. Sho'nuff of Harlem. Sho'nuff of Harlem. And he is, I guess he's the karate man, the local karate. He's, like you said, he's got this entourage. He's got the ladies. I think there's like 4 of them, and they're not like, woo, ladies. They're like, kick your ass, ladies.
Right. They're like tough. There's like 4 tough ladies and 3 tough dudes, and they're all kind of dressed the same. They have a very leathery punk look.
Animal print here and there, yeah.
But I don't even know how to describe how he's dressed. His hair looks like he's been electrocuted. Like, it's all over the place. And he wears shoulder pads, like football
pads, yeah.
But has multiple designs of these things.
He's got these sunglasses, like those Matt's Headroom. Right. Is that what they are? Like sunglasses, but like they have
flippy, like
yes. And he's got these facial expressions that he makes that, like you said, he's like shot out of a cannon. He's just he comes in and right away I'm like, this is what the movie theater was one thing. When we meet Sho'nuff, I'm like, oh, this is this movie. Yeah. It's getting better and better.
He basically goes to the front of the theater and is like, I will kick all of your asses.
Yeah.
And I will murder everyone in this theater right now. Mm-hmm. But the only thing, he just has a problem with Leroy. For some reason, he has the biggest problem with this guy.
Leroy's got a reputation. He's been known to be able to catch a bullet with his teeth.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I don't know where that rumor got started. I don't know if Leroy just started this on his own one day for fun.
Well, now, mind you, so Show Enough comes in with all of this. There's a little, I think they dance a little bit when they first introduce him.
Yes.
Yeah. And the whole time, again, Leroy is just sitting in the front of the theater, unfazed, watching. He's ignoring it.
He's in his own world. Like, he is unaware of it. He was unaware that people were throwing popcorn, yelling at the screen. He's not aware that there were guys breakdancing.
No.
He's in this Bruce Lee
He's
mode.
so in the zone. So in the zone.
Yeah. Later on in this movie, I was like, if Vanity put on like a Bruce Lee mask, he'd be all over her.
Well, that's what got him all thinking to begin with, was that she put all the Bruce Lee on the movie on. That's what got him like, oh. And he was even taking hints from Bruce Lee about making out with her. Anyway.
I loved how he had to watch Bruce Lee make out with someone, so he'd be like, wait a second.
Well, that's how you do it.
Maybe I could do that too. If I do roundhouse kicks like Bruce Lee, I could probably kiss some lady.
I could probably make out with this girl from, yeah. Show Enough does get attacked. Somebody in the theater. Oh, it's the guy that broke the radio, the boombox of the breakdancers.
Right.
Jumps out of the audience. This is when we see the drag queen, if that's what she is, or shouting after this guy like, "No, don't hurt his face." And these Show Enough and his gang are kind of like, they're relentless. They're not just a little bit like mess you up. They like really.
But this is the first time when they like actively target children, because
they do.
The kid just yells something. He's like, "Who said that?" And just grabs this tiny child
and lifts
him up.
"I'm
going to kill you right now." Like, this seems inappropriate.
He's an angry guy.
But yeah, they're rushed by a bunch of people, and he and his crew just kind of decimate everyone. Like they have no trouble beating these people up. And then we see Leroy just like sneak out the side door, look back, almost like winking, like, all right, movie's over, I'm out of here.
He's going out the exit.
Right.
But Show Enough sees him and says, "You can't get away from me. You're your ass is grass. I'm coming after you," kind of thing. He's like you said, he's just got it out for him.
Right. There's also, this is the first of a couple instances where Show Enough does like a lot of almost face punching. There's so much like, "What are you going to do?" And like almost punching him in the face. And he does it about 20 times. Later, the ladies do it to him when they're in his little dojo there. There's so much of that stuff.
He's a dirty fighter, Show Enough. Doesn't he bite some guy's ankle?
He does.
In this?
Yeah, he's like snapping his ankle, like cracking it, and then he bites it. It's a funny little touch. I like it.
Yeah. When Leroy leaves, he says, "You wimp." He keeps calling him a wimpy heart or something like that. He's got like a name for him.
Oh, I hope it's something better than wimpy heart.
No, he calls it, I forget. I have it written down later on. But yeah, Leroy sneaks out. It pisses Show Enough off. And now we thought Show Enough was the bad guy.
You got to take the movie you were just watching and kind of just put it in your back pocket. Like we met a lot of characters. A lot has happened. But let's take a break from all that right now for a long time.
Oh, man.
We're in the most 80s apart. Like, this apartment
all of it is so 80s.
Insane. I love the look of this apartment. It's so over the top. And what is that woman wearing? What kind of futuristic space vest is she wearing here?
It's very colorful. It's very puffy. It's very 80s. Her whole look is very 80s. Later, when she's filming the other music video where she's got the headlights on her boobs and the little lights on her hair, everything, yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a controversial statement right now.
Do it.
I did not hate her music, and I did not hate her videos. I kind of liked it. When they showed her video to Vanity, and she's rolling around, so I'm like, "Vanity, this is a smash hit you got on your hands here. You got to play this."
She's like the Weird Al, kind of.
Yes, exactly. Super quirky. Yes. It's like not downtown Julie Brown, the other Julie Brown. Like, goofy and silly and fun. And, she's got the most annoying voice, but it kind of worked in song.
It does. It worked in song.
I thought it did.
She's got a boyfriend who is What is he? I thought he was a mob guy at first because they call him the boss.
Yep.
And
He makes it very clear that he made his fortune in video games.
okay.
Because video games, music videos, it goes hand in hand. Like
video,
that's his rationale for all of this. But it seems he's got his hands in everything because Mike Starr is there, and
Yes.
he used to be a fighter,
Yeah.
but he lost every fight.
Yeah, well, not a good fighter. Not a good fighter. Bit of a tough guy, but not good. But that was an investment, I guess. That
Yeah.
I don't even know his name. I called him the bad guy boss.
Just call him the bad guy boss. I
Okay.
don't remember. He says his name enough where we should know it. I like how Leroy finds a clue once, and it's just the bad guy's name on a notebook.
Oh yeah,
So
on a
great.
shiny notebook. It's not even a
Very
notebook.
shiny,
It's like
yes.
a very shiny silver notebook, and he's like,
Oh, I wonder if this is the person who just kidnapped her.
I like how Leroy shows up every time Vanity gets kidnapped. Like he's
Oh my
just
god!
there.
Yeah, he's a regular Swamp Thing, Leroy.
Yeah.
is.
Yes, seriously. Yeah, we meet these bad guys. This crew is our next crew to meet. And the fighting thing isn't working out. So now we know that their focus is getting onto some sort of a dance or video show.
Yeah, like
Right?
the dance thing that the girls wanted to do in Girls Just Want to Have Fun,
Right,
Or
right.
like an American Bandstand, or I don't know, whatever.
And we know what is her name? Not Ashley. She is meant to be his vehicle, the quirky.
Oh, I don't
singing
know what her name
girlfriend.
is.
I
Yeah,
wrote it down somewhere
okay.
along the line, but so we meet them, their crazy apartment. Oh, P.S. There's also the tank. Are you going to talk
I
about
wrote
the tank?
piranha, but it is never explicitly said what is in this bubbling water that just eats an entire leg of lamb. I don't even know what that thing is that he puts in that tank.
Oh,
But these piranhas eat it all or something. And even the bad guy's like, I told you to get rid of this. Like, I don't like these things.
well, and it
at
comes
all.
to nothing. It comes to
No,
nothing. He feeds. There's a huge fridge. He takes food, like you said, like a leg of lamb or something out of this fridge that's
Yeah.
got all this like raw meat in it. So whatever it is, and they refer to this thing in this bubbling tank, but it's never even sure enough at the end kind of falls into that one tank of water, and I thought maybe this piranha thing was going to be in that, but we never
It's just
see it.
Yeah, it's like a weird gag that's forgotten about, and it comes to nothing in this movie. It's a very strange detail that they actually spend some time with and never pay off.
Right. Well, so now you think you've met the major players, but you haven't. We're not done.
No, because in this apartment, they're watching TV.
Yes.
They're watching the show that this guy wants to get his girlfriend's music video onto. And then we're transported into this show.
How fun.
Yeah.
Well, and now we just get like a musical break from the movie. Like what we thought might have been his karate movie is now some kind of goofy like karate movie, I guess. When we
Right.
meet Sure Enough, we're like, okay, it's action, but it's goofy action. Then we meet this crew, this little crazy bad guy crew, and we're like, okay, what is this movie? Now we're in a music video. Is this when we watched that one song, the Rhythm of the Night?
Yes. Elder Barge video?
To the beat of the rhythm of the night.
Yep.
Dancing through.
Watched
We
the
watched almost the whole
whole-
video.
The whole thing. It's as though the movie got into my mind and went, listen, I just introduced a lot of characters to you.
Yeah,
And
take
in
a break.
in about 3 minutes, your brain's going to explode because William H. Macy's going to come on screen. So why don't you take a little music video break right now? It was so weird that this happened in this moment where I was like, I don't know where did his teacher go? I thought we were watching a movie about karate or kung fu or something like that. And now I met all these bad guys and there's a piranha in this movie now. And I was like, oh, out of barge. It like put me at ease. Like,
It was just
everything's
what
gonna
you
be
needed.
fine. It's all
Yeah.
going to come together.
Yeah.
In the
And
end.
it's a great fun song. And then we're not done yet with the music, right? Because
No.
isn't that when then Laura does her own, or Vanity does her own song?
She does her own song where I was really under the impression that she was a VJ. She was hosting this thing. It's as if
She's multi-talented.
yeah, it's as if you'd come back from a commercial and Dick Clark would be singing. Like that's exactly what this is like. Because she, I guess, is a pop star or a musician, but she also hosts this show. And this is the song where she just, in the middle of it, stops singing. Music's still playing, and she starts talking about people in the crowd, the audience, what's coming up next. She breaks back into song. We see a very excited group of teenagers.
Yeah, well, this
little
is like
kids, children.
again that she's running a contest that they could win a date with her.
Right.
There's a group of boys that are, like you said, they're teenage boys, some of them preteen boys. She's clearly a woman, and part of I guess the again, there's some dance competition coming up, but there's also some competition or giveaway of some sort where you could win a night with her.
Well, wait, hold on. Not a night.
That's what
with
she
her.
says.
This
It's an
isn't- I
evening,
know.
like a date with her. And these boys are like,
This isn't an indecent proposal type
Well.
film right now. But yeah, it is. It's like a date with me. Win a date with me if you win this dance competition.
which now I was getting excited, like, oh my God, now there's going to be like dancing and karate. This is going to be amazing.
I know I heard the word dance competition, but it's not till later that the kids are talking about it where I was so excited. I was like, a
You're like,
dance
we're gonna
competition that's going to turn into a karate fight that may end up being a dance competition in the end. I was so waiting for that. And while this movie has everything you could possibly imagine, it's missing a dance
It
competition.
doesn't come through on the dance competition, no. It's true. It's true.
I needed to scroll at the end to be like, and this kid did end up winning the dance competition.
Oh, the song she sings is just funny. It's Going Up.
Oh,
She
God.
sings about never say never. It's a weird.
Again, she stretches out the word elevator as though it's the greatest piece of language on earth. And later when she's making fun of that woman's video, I was like, lady, you sang a song about an elevator earlier. You have no right to talk, Vanity.
So she gets to determine, I guess, because it's her show, what videos she shows.
Yes.
Right?
I don't think that's the way the entertainment industry
I don't
works.
think so either. But so she's backstage, and I love she's got hair and makeup. And then who's this guy? Is he like the showrunner or something, or
Don't know.
her agent or somebody?
I thought
but
he'd be the guy in charge of picking the videos.
yeah. But it is. It's what's his name?
It's a William H. Macy.
Yeah, William H. Macy.
Wearing
Young.
like a multicolored foil
What
jacket.
is that outfit he's wearing?
I have no idea. But it's so great because I can't look at him without thinking of Fargo. And suddenly I was like transported to Fargo. And I was like, he kind of looks the same too. I know it's 10 years before that, but he really does look the same.
Yeah, I know. It's unnerving in a sense.
Yes.
You're like, how'd you get here? What are you
And
doing?
then he's out of the movie too.
Yeah,
I was like,
we never
when's-
see him
when's
again.
William H. Macy going to show up
Not
again?
even when they have to find her again and get her back on the show. He's not there.
Yeah, her makeup person shows up at the end of this
Mm-hmm.
movie, and William H. Macy isn't there. It's and it appears that William H. Macy made a deal with this bad guy or owes him money or something. It's never expressly said, but he really wants her to put this woman's music onto this show, and she has no time for it.
Well, and essentially he says you don't say no to this guy. That's the thing. So for whatever reason, whether it's that they have a outstanding debt owed or he's just that much of a tough guy. And she could care less. She's like, no, I don't. It's my show, and I don't play video. Go
Can
ahead.
we talk about Vanity's performance here? Now, I don't know if you know much about Vanity, and one thing that we really try not to do is I do not want to speak ill of the dead. She died just a few years ago. She had,
Okay.
but when she was doing this, I knew just from the little bit of research, she had a very bad crack cocaine habit, and
Oh, you don't say.
her performance, it's wide-eyed, constantly
Yeah.
looking around, just these manic swings, and it doesn't seem like she quite understands how she is supposed to react to people when they're talking to her. It is a very manic performance, I would say.
She evens herself out in the rest of the movie, but definitely this little song number that she does, I could see where she probably...
This song number, because it is, her eyes are popping out of her skull.
And she is doing all these weird twitchy facial expressions
looking
while she
side to
sings.
side. The song is so whispery at times, but her mannerisms aren't whispery at all.
No.
It's even when he's in her apartment, she seems so off and just so strange in this movie. So
yeah,
sorry,
I could
R.I.P. Vanity, but really,
your sense in what you
yes, it's a thing. She was in
a very 80s performance.
Yeah,
we'll say
she was in a handful of movies, and I kind of want to watch all of them now. For some reason, I got her confused with, and I forget the actress's name. I thought she was the same woman in Purple Rain.
Purple Rain,
but she's
that's
not.
what I thought too. Yeah, but she's not. Yeah, but that woman is one name as well, isn't it? Like
I thought so, and I thought that name was Vanity. Oh, I like at the very end of this scene how she blows the audience a kiss, and we see the screen behind her, and it's like this digitized kiss, and that's when we see Richie like climbing over his friends to like try and catch this fake kiss. It's really fun.
Yeah. And he gets all excited about catching it. Now she sings about, and I guess the name of this club or TV show is Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
Right?
This club or TV show.
Whatever it is.
Yes. You may have heard of it.
It's a little bit of both,
It starred a child molester. So after this taping of this show, she's, I'm going to say, mobbed by at least 3 people while she walks out of this.
They all want her autograph. All these people are looking for her autograph. And Leroy's just there. He's not there to see her. He doesn't have any idea. He's still wearing his gardening hat.
He's still walking home from the movie theater. Hours later, I guess.
But they lock eyes. She sees him. He sees her. They sort of eye fuck each other for a little bit.
Yeah,
she gets in the car.
It's very much like he's like, I don't know what to do now that I don't have my karate teacher anymore. I have to find some sort of interest, and he's found her, and now but that's not even really a thing, because while we see them like staring at each other, and especially him, he's so into her. Yeah. After he saves her, why does he just leave? He just disappears.
Because he tells her, even when she comes to him and is like, I want you to be my bodyguard, he's like, I have another mission. I would love to help you out, but I've got something to do.
That's when he's very sweaty. That's later in this movie when he's really getting into punching that bag and his mind is a million miles away. At this point, he should be all over her.
Well, he's looking for the wisest man in New York right now. And she's a pretty lady, but she's not the wisest man in New York.
Yeah,
but
right
away,
that's a good point.
They are staring at each other. She's on his radar now, basically.
Right.
And this is when she is being, for the first time in the movie, it happens several other times, she's sort of kidnapped. She gets into a limo that she thinks has got her driver in it, starts to make a little small talk, and it's not her driver.
No.
It's the bad guy hired someone. She screams, and right away Leroy is on it.
Yeah, it's a funny scene because she gets into her limo, starts to drive away, and she's like, oh, Dennis, what a show tonight. And the guy's like, Dennis took the night off. Don't scream. And immediately, like, stops the limo, and all she does is get out. She just opens the door and tries to run away, and then is stopped by other guys approaching the limo.
Right.
And that's when Bruce Leroy shows up and really just takes these guys on one at a time.
He just kicks ass. Yeah, he just shows up and kicks ass, basically.
I did like how when he's about to fight one guy, the guy just says, your mother. And then they have a little fight.
He makes pretty quick work of them, and one by one they sort of come out of the limo or out from the corners. And she is very grateful to him and wants to make sure that they're okay. Again, his even the way he, his cadence, the way he talks, they did not harm me. It seems like everything is safe now.
Yeah.
I must go. I shall leave you.
Yeah. When you say Asperger's, I think you nailed it. Like, I really do. He's like got such an interest in karate in this
Mm-hmm.
culture, that he has adopted mannerisms and way of speaking that make no sense whatsoever, knowing that he grew up in New York with the family that he grew up with. This is like this kid at 12 years old watched a Bruce Lee movie and is like,
And was
that's
hooked.
what I'm going to do
Yeah.
from now on. Just
This
woke
is
up
me.
the next day. His dad was like, it's a phase. He'll run
Yeah.
the pizza shop in a few years. Flash forward, 15 years later, he's still doing it.
He's still in the zone. He's still in the zone. Now he's got the weird garden hat. But yeah, he makes sure she's okay.
Right.
He tells her he's not hurt. She's picking up the pieces from her purse. She's sort of in shock that it just happened.
Yep.
And he calls her a cab, and then basically, like a superhero, he disappears.
Disappears. I like the little detail when she goes to get in the cab and says to the driver, hey, where'd that guy go? And the driver goes, hey, he's right over.
Yeah.
When he was just here. Like, well, this is an interesting back and forth between these two that we have to watch.
I know. And the driver is somewhat aggressive, like, come on, lady, get in the car, please. Like, but then not all the way aggressive, you know?
I love how empty New York is in this movie because during the scene, there's not a car that goes by. You don't
No.
see anything in the background. It's really funny. But at this time, she finds his medallion on the ground.
Oh, right.
His
this belt
his only
buckle.
possession, basically, he dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, he dropped it, and later he goes frantically back for it and can't find it, which is kind
Right.
of funny. He's all panicked looking at...
Yep.
We go back for a minute to, I call them the bad guys. I don't remember her name, this crazy
Just call them
girl.
the bad guys. It doesn't matter. She's just don't even call her the bad girl because there's something. Not to get too far ahead, but when they are watching her music video, it really is like these two ladies like looking out for one another. Like Vanity doesn't seem to want to hurt her feelings.
Oh,
this
yes,
woman
yes.
doesn't want him to hurt Vanity.
Doesn't
Like,
want,
it is
yeah.
really
No, she
nice.
really does look out for, I like her in the end. Her boyfriend's not very nice to her. He says, don't bug me, fix your face.
He's- And I like how sometimes this guy wears a piece when he goes out of this apartment.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The other, and it looked pretty good. Like there were times in this movie where he shows up places. I'm like, who's this interesting character? Oh no, it's just that guy with a wig on.
It just depends what look he's going for, you know?
Right.
We see that Leroy, also, I don't know whose karate school this is, but he teaches class
I think it's
at
his.
It's
right?
his, yeah?
I think
okay.
so.
So there's the pizza shop in the family, and there's the karate shop or the karate studio.
When you say that he's teaching kids karate, I would say he's teaching them to scream and run around. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's all these kids are doing.
Right.
He has some wise words for them and is like, now practice a bit. And they're just running in circles and yelling. Like there's no karate.
He's
happening
always
at all.
spouting out wise words. We should
Sure.
note that. Even when he's talking to Vanity earlier, when he's helping her pick up, he's like
Yeah.
reciting a fortune cookie. He
Because
just
you
has all
know
these
that's what his teacher was feeding him all the time.
Right.
Just before Leroy showed up, he'd memorize a bunch of phrases from fortune cookies. And throughout the lesson,
and this
while
is
he
what's
shot
ingrained
arrows at
in
him, right,
yeah.
he would just yell this stuff. Not a great teacher. Not a Mr. Miyagi.
No, not at all. And again, the stash, dead giveaway. You're not a Miyagi's. You're not. So you're right. He's got some rowdy students, and the class isn't very organized. And shortly,
We do
Go
meet
ahead.
his star pupil.
oh right,
Johnny.
Johnny, who's really just a clown of sorts.
Yeah,
Like, makes a
he's-
lot of kung fu noises.
Yeah,
Oh.
as if we needed comic relief in this movie where I am laughing hysterically from the start. This guy, I like how he goes up to, he's like supposed to spar with this other kid or whatever. And he's like, hey, Leroy, if you just look like you fight, but you can't really fight, it works every time. And I'm like, that guy can hear you. He's right behind you. He just heard you say you can't fight. So yeah, you're right. He makes a lot of noises and he gets kicked in the face.
Yeah.
But this crew, this
Show enough.
shoulder-padded crew, Show Enough's crew busts in. And It's bizarre like, what triggers Leroy to fight and what doesn't. Why? I think this is pushing the envelope of like,
I love
maybe
how-
you should fight these guys.
I love, first of all, because this is one of the first of many times we see Leroy sweat. And he does beads of sweat form on his forehead.
He's sweating a lot.
Right
He's
away.
sweating when he's in the car, in an open top car
Yeah.
with Vanity. He's sweating.
They couldn't cover that with makeup.
I
But yeah,
was so surprised by that.
Sure enough shows up with some kind I wrote down that he had because he's got that belt that looks like it's a heavyweight champion belt, but it's just all leopard print.
Yep.
His,
right.
And first he kind of makes his little girls attack. Well, I guess not
Yeah.
even attack. They sort of, like you said, kind of fake hit
Yep.
Leroy. But they've got these great one lines like, we're going to peel this banana. We're going to kiss him with a fist. And they just say all these like crazy things to Leroy while Leroy just sort of stands there very stoically like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. And now, things get a little...
Yeah, because I thought
like
it was a whole
pushing
thing
the limits.
where it was like, well, I'm not going to fight you. Like,
Right.
nobody's touching me, nobody's hitting me,
Mm-hmm.
you're almost hitting me. But then the one guy grabs the back of his head and is like, "Good job
It's
on
like
your knees,"
slamming it
and
down,
kisses
yeah. Mm-hmm.
his feet, and I'm like, Leroy, if there's a time to fight
You
back,
should-
it might be right now.
And we just saw 2 scenes ago how he kicked ass out of all those guys that were trying to hurt
Yeah.
Vanity.
Yeah,
So
you
you're like,
beat up
where's your
5
moves,
guys.
buddy?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's where at the end of the scene I'm like, every one of these kids is dropping this class after tonight. Like,
Yeah.
how could you possibly
not their
go
hero,
back to
bro.
this? Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because now there's this very, very awkward. Show enough is telling him kiss, which I didn't peg Show enough as a Converse wearer, but he
No.
tells him kiss my Converse, kiss my
I loved it.
Converse.
And they're very, at the end when he gets thrown in the water, I was like, oh, he is wearing Converse. Like, it's very obvious then. I loved it because Shonough's outfit really is like, he just walked around and he saw stuff in the garbage and was like, this would
This
look
is going
great.
to work.
'Cause
Paint
you
it
know where that
red and
wrestling
put some
belt
leopard print on it. Yeah.
Yes. That's where the wrestling belt came from. Those Converse probably were not his. The shoulder pads,
The shoulder
all
gear.
of it.
Exactly. So,
But
there,
yeah, he
go ahead.
really is really humiliated in front of his class.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And they try to help. The star student comes out to try to help.
Yeah.
But
and they
he
just
gets
chase
his
him around
ass
and
kicked.
grab him.
Yeah, that's what kind of gets Leroy a little bit like, oh, maybe I should do something about it. He's hurting
Right.
my friend. or
Because they're like, we're going to break his neck unless you kiss my shoes and everything. And
Yeah.
I like how later on when Richie's like, and man, you even kissed his shoes. I'm
Yeah.
like, Richie wasn't there. This is going all around
No, it's
town.
going around. People have said what's happening. Well,
Right.
because again, this is a known rivalry between Bruce Leroy and
Yep.
Shonuff.
Yes.
Great names. So now,
now we get a bit of his home life.
we meet the family. We get to
Oh.
meet where. So we start out and he's doing his little Tai Chi on the rooftop, right? He's on the rooftop of I guess his apartment building.
He's got an interesting setup up there. I kind of like it. You know.
I do too. It's casual. It's nice.
Yeah.
We meet Richie, who looks like he's 12, is his younger brother.
Yeah, again, did not know there was a relation between these two.
No.
And I'm watching this going, hey, there's that kid that wants to fuck a 26-year-old
Yeah,
woman.
exactly.
And he's his brother?
Yeah.
This is interesting. I can't wait to see how all these characters come together. And it kind of happens, I guess.
Rudy, our little Rudy Cosby is there. It's interesting because did you hear how she doesn't have a name? Even Richie makes a
No.
comment and is like, why? You guys have to pick a name for her at some point.
Yes.
And Leroy calls her Little Lotus Blossom or something like that.
And she's just like this little, like, you barely see her head
She's
above
tiny.
the table. And
Yeah.
she's just there to, like, smile and steal food from people, I think. It's
she
like they
says
took in a
something.
feral girl and we're
Yeah.
just like, well, we should name her at some point. She's ours now.
She has one little adorable line that she says, but that's it. And like you said, we don't ever see her again. But we meet her. We meet his parents. His brother, who is not his biggest fan at all. His
No.
brother is like, he is weird. Leroy is a weirdo. And he says it several times. Like, he's just a weirdo. They're like, why does he dress like that? Why does he talk like that? He's not even, he points out, Richie's like, he's not even into girls. Don't you think that's a little weird? And the parents are just kind of side-eyeing each other. The parents, Ricky's dad, or Richie, Leroy and Richie's dad, owns a pizzeria.
Wowie. Wow. Was I just excited that this is what this guy does for a living, and then it comes into play in the movie.
Oh, yeah. We get to see the pizzeria. What's his tagline for the pizzeria is...
you texted it to me earlier.
I did.
I think you should know this. Because that was before I watched the movie, and I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay. It's pretty great. And it took me a minute to figure out, just direct your what's up? Because it doesn't really make... Just direct your pizza to Daddy Green's Pizza. Your pizza and pizza.
It's wonderful because it's so innocent and fun, and just like watching this family made me think, this is a sitcom. Like this pizzeria owning dad and his sex obsessed 12-year-old son and this guy who loves karate and this little girl who barely says anything. I was like, this is a sitcom from the 80s right now. I'm here. Yeah. I'm watching it. Did you notice their wallpaper is just hearts in this kitchen?
Yes, I saw that.
Hearts. I loved it. Yeah, Ricky's just insulting him any way he can. He's calling him rice, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty.
He calls him a walking fortune cookie. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote that down. But Richie's also giving his brother advice on moves for lovemaking. Richie's knows what you got to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is when Richie finds out. I don't even think Leroy comes out and says it, but he finds out that Leroy and, what's her name? Laura?
No, yeah.
Okay. Vanity. Leroy and Vanity met. And he's just like, that's my woman. I'm winning this dance contest.
Yeah,
I'm going to marry her. It's a whole thing. You're not even into girls. He says, and I wrote it down because even Leroy's like, I got to find her and everything like that. This kid goes, the worst thing that can happen to you is if she says yes, because there ain't no woman like that that's going to hold still while you try and figure it out. I like how then he continues and goes, and not only that, but you wouldn't even know where to put it if you figured it out. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense, but all right, fine.
He really underestimates. He warns him, it could hurt if you don't do it right.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Richie's advice on making love is top notch, and his brother Leroy should not take notes.
So I love this. Like, I was so.
when they're together in the pizzeria, they're getting.
Well, right, but the whole thing is like, all right, I'll take you to this place, this seventh heaven, and you know what? I got my connections and everything. But if you want to come with me, I got to ride on your shoulders the whole way, and you have to rap.
Great. This was great. Yeah. So Richie says, yes, I know where she is. I could take you to her. It's the Seventh Heaven Club. But and Leroy's like, and again, Leroy's not after her because I mean, yes, he was attracted to her, but he thinks she might know where his the medallion is. So that's his objective. And he's like, we just have to find her. So yeah, Richie demands that Leroy carry him on his shoulders and rap at the same time. And then
we see it. Like, I couldn't believe we saw it. It was so great. Like, it would be enough to just have that line. I'm like, that's funny. But just to then have this crane shot, like the camera's up so high, he's sitting on his shoulders, dressed to the nines. This kid is wearing white pants, white shirt, a white hat on his head. And I don't even know what Leroy thinks rapping is, but he's just saying, like, stumbling over words. There's no beat or anything. And this is when the music for this movie really fooled me, because they stop for a minute and the kid's like, that's not rap, and suddenly a steel drum starts playing, and I was like, is this little kid gonna rap? Because I can't wait. Like, this calypso music is gonna rap. No, it's just a Vanity song that starts playing over top of this.
Well, yeah, because now we're so it's a perfect Richie and Leroy It's
It's wonderful.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, and Richie's outfit, I wrote about that. So now Richie is, like you said, he's this 12-year-old kid with the connections of a 36-year-old swarmy man, and he's trying to get into the Seventh Heaven Club or whatever, the dance contest. But he's going to go in the back way. He's trying to get in the back way. He can't. And he tells Leroy, like, I'll be right back. I got to get my buddies and we'll figure this out.
Right.
So Leroy is left to do what Leroy does. He pulls up a crate and just starts sort of meditating on the street corner.
I thought we were just going to watch him sit still for 20 seconds. Like, I really, because the camera doesn't cut away, and I was like, what's happening right now? Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
what are we
watching
gonna
guys
see?
sit. There's another scene a little bit later, and this was just as strange, when he does talk to Vanity, and they're on the street and everything, and she's like, just wait here. Don't go anywhere. Just wait 5 minutes. I'll be right back. And then she walks away, and they're in the car. I was like, what is that? Why didn't she just say, like, let me get my car? Like, I was waiting for something so much more than a cut to them in a car.
Since their first interaction, though, Vanity is very afraid that he's going to just up and disappear on her.
Yeah,
So
right.
every time they're together, she's like, I will be right back.
Right.
Don't go anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's sitting there. He's having this moment of zen. And again, Vanity is almost kidnapped. You hear her screaming again. Right?
Yeah, because Mike Starr, it's kind of fun because he pulls up in a van and then he walks outside with her and she's like, why do I need to do another sound check? I thought you guys figured this
Right.
out. And I like how
Yeah.
she's just alone. Nobody with her, no bodyguards, no nothing. And he just walks her to the van. She screams. They drive away. And this is when he finds the notebook with the bad guy's name bedazzled
Yes.
on it.
Yes. And he's like, okay. I wish I knew. Or Angela is the crazy girl's name. There you go.
Okay,
I
yes.
finally wrote it down.
Because we cut to her music video. And like I said, I kind of super loved it. Like I was like, this is
With her roller
so
skates.
at home in this movie. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and everything about this is just over the top. But the video is so bad, but the production values are pretty good. I was like, I could
yeah.
see this on MTV in the 80s.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. She's got some backup dancers along with her, backup singers. They basically kidnap Laura or Vanity so that they could make her watch this music video.
Right.
That she's literally like does one of these, like blows up
Yeah.
her bangs. Like she's so bored by it. And there's a crowd of there's at least 15 like goons in there with them applauding and clapping and, pretending
Yeah.
they love this music video too. And Vanity's just like, no, I'm not going to
Yeah.
show that on my station, and it's terrible. I don't like it at all.
This is one of these moments in all these movies where I'm like, Vanity, you're not doing this right.
Yeah,
Just
you got to
say,
play. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play this and then call the police. Like,
Yes,
just, what are you
exactly.
doing?
What are you gonna
Allow
be
them to
so-
release you. Take the VHS tape or whatever they have and be like, yeah, I'll put this on. And then call the cops. I was like, what's the end game of this guy? Because when she says she isn't going to play it, I was like, are they now going to murder her? Like, is that
Well,
where
and
this goes?
he's like, I don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
And Angela, the crazy kooky girl from the video, is like, don't do what I think you're going to do. Like and she, like you said, she tries to cover up for Vanity. It's
Yes.
like, I think she meant she doesn't like it right now. 'Cause
Right,
she's
yes.
tired and doesn't feel
Yeah.
like watching it.
Because all Vanity says is like, I don't, and she's like, you don't think you want to play this tonight, but
Right.
maybe on tomorrow's show,
Yes,
right? She's
yes.
like, Vanity, play along with me here, girl. Let's just do this.
Well, just I'm saving your life, girlfriend.
Right.
Well, then they grab Vanity by the hair. You don't know what they're going to do to her. It looks like it's deadly.
I
And-
would think shove her face in that piranha
in that
tank.
piranha tank, maybe. And then who busts in? How he found them, I don't know.
Don't know.
But there's
he knows
a,
where that guy lives. He's
he
just like,
figured
I don't
it
know.
out.
I'll look him up in the yellow pages.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fine.
I got
Yeah.
the plaque here that I found, the plaque notebook. But yeah, I love it when he busts in. He's wearing like a mask, I guess, to sort of cover up who he is. I don't know. And they're like, "Who is that? We didn't order anything."
And it's so funny, too, because then the main bad guy unmasks him and is like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, you've never seen him before. Like,
Right?
you have not
No.
interacted at all. You really don't know who this guy is.
Well, maybe they do. Maybe everyone knows Bruce Leroy.
Oh, yeah, maybe. You're that Bruce Leroy guy I've been hearing about. I mean, the fact that he hires Shonuff at the end of this is bizarre enough.
Well, all the guys he's hired at the end of this.
Yeah.
So again, he makes quick work, Leroy does, of kicking ass of all these other goons in the room, who, P.S., did get their ass kicked earlier from Leroy and made up some excuse. Remember when they first go back, they were like, oh yeah, it was a gang of guys that
They
beat
were
us
like,
up.
she had bodyguards. There must have been 20 of them. And then they pause for a minute and they go, black guys.
Yeah.
Big. They had chains. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We get it. You're taking it a little too far, dude.
Right. Yes. But he makes quick work, Leroy, of all the goons, and then he looks at the bad guy, who is like pissed off and is like, you, and he tells him to cool himself down with some water, and this is when he sticks his head in the piranha tank, but nothing happens of it other than a scratch on his nose. But now Leroy has two people after him. He's got his arch nemesis, Shonuff, and this bad guy now. He's on Leroy's shit list.
And this abrupt cut to where he's like, Vanity, let's get out of here. And then we cut to, I thought, right outside this apartment where they were like waiting for an elevator or whatever. No, we're suddenly in her apartment building, but it kind of looks like it would be the hallway that
Part
that
of that,
would be.
yes, I agree. Like, she's like, these are my neighbors.
Yeah,
I had
watched
no
them, like,
idea.
did she run
Yeah.
across the hall? Why didn't they accost her at home? Why are they waiting for her to go to work?
Yeah, why are they just, this could be a lot easier for them if they all live in the same building. Like, what the hell? But yeah, she gets back. She takes him back to her place. She needs a drink. She's a lot to process. She's been kidnapped now twice by these people that just want her to show this video. And she's like, what is happening? And now she's very attracted to this guy who has also saved her twice.
Sure.
She offers him a drink and begs him not to leave and disappear as he's done before.
Yep.
And
he's like, do you know where my medallion is? And she's like, oh, that belt buckle? She gets it. She knows what it is.
And he gets more excited that she has the belt buckle than the fact that he's in her apartment. He's like, oh my God, you do have it? You have it? And he's like, eyes are glow. He's so excited that she's like, yeah, stay right here. I'll be right back. And she comes back, she zhuzhes herself up in the mirror and is like, oh yeah. And again, he is more excited to see the belt buckle.
He's so thrilled. He's like, I got my medallion. Peace out, lady. Cox crow, whatever I'm saying. Yeah. Who cares?
He makes up even she's like, Cox crow.
Yeah.
He makes up some quote, some fortune cookie line about a cox crow, and that I guess meaning he's got to get up early. I don't know. He's got to get out of there.
Yeah. But he really does leave, and she just like looks at the camera like, oh, that Leroy. Like, it's such a weird reaction from her. But now we cut to, I'm going to refer to these guys as performance artists. Do you think that's fair?
The dance and rap and Asian band?
Yep.
Yeah. What are they? What?
I don't know what they are. I don't know how this is drawing a crowd, which it does.
There's a whole crowd. So they have there's three of them, and they have this whole dance and rap and silliness that they do, which a crowd does gather around them.
I would refer to them as the Asian Beastie Boys. Do you think that's fair?
That's fair.
They are dressed the part, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've got some sweet, I don't know really what they were rapping about, but they are in front of the fortune cookie factory.
Yep.
That's something to note. And Leroy shows up here because, he wants to get to know their master.
And how does he come to the conclusion that the smartest man on the planet
writes fortune cookies for a living,
owns a fortune cookie factory in like what appears to be an abandoned warehouse? I don't know how he got here, and he's so sure of himself. Because he really is like, guys, I need to see your master. It's super important. And they are totally playing along.
Yeah.
But also they're really insulting him. They say something pretty awful. There's so many racial stereotypes being thrown around here.
Yeah.
But I love, the one guy says, and I need to use this at some point. I don't know when I would ever need to say this to somebody. But when he goes, take a hike, cool breeze.
Cool breeze.
I love that so
Me
much.
too. I wrote that one down too. Take a hike, cool breeze. It's pretty brilliant.
And really, they just end up turning him away, taking his hat.
Taking that garden hat.
Taking his gardening hat.
Yeah.
That is an insult that I didn't think he'd take, but he also did kiss a man's shoes earlier. So they take his hat and
he's
just
having
lock
some
him
hard
out.
times. Yeah. Because he's got some morals. He's got some things he wants to, stand up against. And they lock him out. They pay him no mind, basically. He's a joke to them.
Right. Right now in this movie, we have realized that if you kidnap Vanity, he will straight up murder you.
That's when
you
things
can
get...
do anything else to this guy, anything you want.
You could humiliate the shit out of him, and he's like, I must find peace in this moment. You are not.
Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm. So now we go to the pizza shop.
Oh, that's right. Daddy
We're back
Greens.
to this wacky sitcom where this dad and his wife are working in a pizza shop.
How fun are they?
It's so much fun.
And our friend Richie is back because he hangs out at his parents' pizza shop.
Yeah.
Again, I guess they have a sitter for little Rudy because she's not here.
Why she isn't just sitting on the counter or something, playing in dough.
Good thing she's not, though, because some violence erupts. Sure enough shows up with some of his sidekicks to the pizza shop looking for Leroy.
Yes.
Leroy's dad is first like, "Oh, you looking for me?" And
it really is like it's something that I thought for some reason I was like, I bet this was written down as a joke, but it's not played for laughs. When he's like, "I'm looking for Leroy Jenkins" or whatever, and he's like, "That's me. Do you need anything?" He's like, "Nope, I'm not looking for you." And he's like, "Oh, you must mean Junior." "Yeah, I'm looking for Junior." I'm like, this is so much dialogue here that doesn't matter at all.
Well, sure enough gets angry real fast. Leroy is not there, and sure enough just starts breaking shit.
Oh my God. The dad's reaction to this, and I wrote down his lines. When he smashes his table, the dad just goes, "Oh my God, my table. What are you doing?"
I love it. The dad kind of doesn't know how to react, like you said, but the mom just starts throwing pizza dough at him.
Mom is going to kill these guys. The dad is just holding back the wife. That's all he's doing in this entire scene. At one point, she's grabbing for metal pots and stuff. Guys with.
They've put poor Richie gets thrown in the trash.
Yep.
There's a jukebox that's when the dad's like, that's not even mine. Like, what are you doing?
Jukebox that is playing the music video, the roller skate music video that I just watched that should never have been played.
Somehow it was released.
It was released to this pizza place, and that was it. Then I thought this was funny. This wasn't a cartoon or a comic that I had any interest in, but I saw it enough where when these bad guys leave, they get in a Ninja Turtle van. It looks just like the Ninja Turtle van. I couldn't even believe it.
Well, because then Leroy's walking up and he sees them drive out. He sees the damage done from the outside. He goes into the pizzeria. I love it because he's not a very good actor, this Leroy guy. And when he tears up because he sees what's happened, his mom gives him a hug. And Richie's just pissed. He's like, he goes, "What good is that kung fu jive if you can't use it?" Because now, like you said, word's gotten out on the street that he had to kiss the Converse and that he's just,
So you're saying he's not a great actor. I'm saying Vanity's not a great actor, which doesn't explain that when they're on screen together, it's just electric, Jamie. These two have zero chemistry. It's so funny to watch them try and interact and have these touching scenes. It's so much fun. But this is where his brother calls him a coward.
Oh, boy, does this get in his head. Yes.
And that kind of changes everything. But I do love at the end of this scene, I thought it was so sweet how after his brother calls him a coward, and like you said, he looks like he's going to cry, his mom comes over and gives him a huge
Just
hug.
hugs him. Yeah,
It's
very
so
sweet.
nice at the
It
end
is
of the
very
scene.
sweet. Yeah.
But now we go to like super training because he's so sweaty punching that bag.
Yes, and he just keeps hearing his brother call him a coward in his head over and over again.
I like how later when he's getting dunked and we have flashbacks of his teacher reading fortune cookies to him. So much fun.
Oh, but while he's in the midst of his hardcore training and it's in his head that, he's got to do something about the way he is, apparently.
Yeah.
Laura comes and is looking for him. She comes to his little dojo.
How did she find? How does everybody find everyone in this movie? They're
Again,
in
I
New
think
York.
he's more popular than we know in town.
I guess so.
But she does find him, and she makes him an offer. She wants him to be her bodyguard. And she's all kind of excited about it. She can have her own. And he goes, I cannot.
Oh, oh my God.
cannot.
Again, the interplay between these two characters, I really did think during this scene, I don't know if this was one take and done, like if he's like, that's it. But there are points in this where she says, I want you to be my bodyguard. And he's staring, just staring. And she goes, I want you to be my bodyguard. And he goes, what? And she goes, my bodyguard. I was like, what is happening? Is Johnny late? Like, did Johnny miss his cue? Because Johnny then does run in, and he's amazed that, like, she's there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
Johnny,
when
his
he's
star
like,
student, yeah.
yeah, that's when he's touching his sweaty body and being like, oh, yeah, no, he'll be your bodyguard. He just needs to get his head right, blah, blah, whatever, and so on.
Yeah.
So now, let's go to the bad guys.
Angela's new video. This is the test
Oh,
drive
God, I
music
forgot.
video. Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
test ride.
Yeah.
And they're basically performing a video just for him. They're not shooting this.
No.
They're in full getup. There's background dancers / singers dressed in
But they're in
checkered
his
cab
office,
outfits.
right?
Yeah.
They're not even on a stage or anything like that. They're in his little office apartment, I don't know. And it's like they're rehearsing for the video, but they're not, because she's got the costumes. They get told to kind of cut and take a break.
Yeah, cut. There's no cameras, no nothing, but cut. Ladies, take 5. It's fine. And this is where she lays down on the couch and she's like, I'm getting kind of tired of doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. She's like, this is a lot, and I don't even think that girl's going to show our videos, so what the hell's really the point?
Right. But they're also holding assassin auditions or interviews, not
Yes.
auditions.
No, he calls them auditions, I think he says.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah.
Because the one guy does show him a picture or whatever, I guess, of a person he murdered. And the guy's like, I was so impressed with this work. This is kind of morbid, everybody.
Well, and this is when Angela, we see she's not really a bad guy. She's like,
No.
this is when she says, I don't really like what you're going to get into here, that you're going to kill someone. And he's like, but I'm doing it for you. This is all about you. And she's like, and she kind of grows wise to it, right? Isn't this where she's like,
she really tells him off and is like, no,
She
you're
calls
doing this
him
for you.
a misguided midget asshole from Kew Gardens. Is what
Yes.
because he calls her some kind of, he says how she's sort of a loser girl they're both
Yeah.
from Kew Gardens, I guess. But yeah, she's kind of onto him and is like, I don't think that you're doing this for me. I think it's all about you. I think you used a fighter guy too, and I'm just not into this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, honestly, to the bad guy at this point, because he says nobody does what Leroy did to me. Nobody's allowed to do that.
So, and that's the thing. At this point, listen, I understand. Leroy beat up your guys and shoved your head in a fish tank, and that's really sad and all. But maybe you're done. Like maybe this venture
maybe
didn't
just
work
leave
out.
it. Right.
Yeah, she doesn't want to sing anymore. So I don't really know what you're trying to do at this point. Like,
Well, now
stop
it's about
messing
the
with
ego.
vanity.
Now it's all the ego, right? He just wants to. He doesn't want this Leroy guy to win. He wants Leroy to
Sure.
go down.
Okay.
And he finds, he's like you said, he's auditioning these thugs. But at the end of this, he's also offering Sure Enough a suitcase full of money, which Sure Enough refuses the money. He doesn't even
want
need
it.
the money.
Yeah.
He says, no, I'm just wanting myself
Yep.
as well. So
Exactly.
I'm on your side.
Yeah. because he was going to hire him, because it looks like Shonuff either has his own dojo or sort of his own Fight Club thing going on here. It's very unclear what's happening, because people want him to murder the guy that he just beat up. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I really enjoyed it because, like you said, he doesn't want the money. He just wants revenge. He doesn't care about vanity or this woman's music videos or anything.
No, he
like
just
that.
wants to be the master. He doesn't want
Right.
anybody in town to think that Leroy is.
Yes. This is when they have the "I'll be back in 5 minute" discussion.
Oh, yes.
And this is when they're in the car together, and like you said, he's sweating, like visibly sweating. And he kind of asks her, he's like, "Hey, can you help me learn some moves that I'm going to end up putting on you?" Like it's a funny
very
discussion.
awkward conversation.
Yeah, it's really like, I have this friend, and he's really shy, and he doesn't know about the moves. He doesn't have a brush. He doesn't have a canvas.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what he's talking about.
She's like, canvas, paintbrush, what
Yeah.
are you saying? And finally he says, "Well, for making love." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh,
I
okay."
expected her to be like, "How do you think that works?"
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
brush,
think there's
canvas,
a
all
paintbrush
right.
involved? Okay. But yeah, I like it because they're both in those little outfits. They both are wearing those little, like she's now wearing an Asian dress. And
Oh,
he's
she's
got
wearing
his
like
little,
a kimono,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
wearing his. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But he still says that he can't. He has a mission he's got to complete, right, before he can even.
Before he
He
can
still
even
mentioned-
think about the art of making love.
Right. He's got to get to the final level, which is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I know how to get this guy to the final
Yeah,
level."
yeah. She's like, "Oh, I know what the final level is. I'll get it."
You've been talking about Bruce Lee nonstop this
Yeah.
entire car ride. I think I know what to do.
I got you number.
Right.
Basically.
And this is
yeah.
also where we see that Richie and his friend Chunk and some other kid are like staking
Oh yeah, they're
out.
trying to get into the
Seventh Heaven.
Yes.
They're just
yes.
going to wait a while. But she takes him to Seventh Heaven, to
Yes.
the empty studio,
Yes.
and plays like a rap song set to Bruce Lee clips. It's like she had this put together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because like you said, she knew what could like get him going. She knew Bruce Lee would. So it's
Right.
on all these huge screens all around him and this light up stage. And it does. It amps him up. He's like, "Oh my God, this is Bruce Lee. This is amazing." Again, more exciting to him than if she took him into her dressing room and just started like,
Yeah.
being all sexy. He's so into that Bruce Lee is huge on these screens all
He's
around
like
him.
doing the moves
Yeah,
along
yeah.
with Bruce Lee, and she's standing behind him just with a crazy smile on her face, because it's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
What is happening? Yeah.
But thankfully, since she put this together, she realized that she needed to splice in Bruce
Little
Lee
romance.
clips of him
Yeah.
kissing women.
Yep. But it's a winner. He sees the Bruce Lee
Yeah.
kissing and he's like, "I can do that." And
Yeah.
so they get a little make out. Now it's
Yep.
interesting. They start making out and Richie gets in and Richie
Oh my
sees
God.
his brother
So
kissing
great.
Vanity and he's kind of heartbroken and is like, "Well, that guy."
Yeah, he really does freak out. Like,
Yeah.
he really freaks out.
Well, he's like, he wouldn't even know her if it wasn't for me,
Yep.
and that's his wife to be. So, this is where he also gets the idea, Leroy.
Oh, God.
In these Bruce Lee
Oh,
clips,
God.
there's a clip of Bruce Lee dressing in.
He's
Dress-
pretending to be an electric company worker or a telephone repairman or something. And Leroy goes, "Chinese connection. I know what to do." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
But
and he
now
basically just runs away. He just takes off.
And now this is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say then Richie comes back in.
Oh, right.
And because he's like, "You know what? I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, blah, blah, blah." And I like how he's like up in the rafters, or what do they call them? Not the rafters. like the catwalk up there.
Yeah, yeah.
And he starts yelling down to Vanity, and I like how she turns around and is like, "What? Who are you? Shut up, kid. Get
She
down
says,
here."
"Get down, you're going to get hurt.
Right,
Would you
yes.
just stop?" And yeah, he's pissed at her, and it's, yeah.
Yes.
But
and now the bad guys come in, and
Oh, yeah.
they kidnap.
Both
you
of
assume
them.
both of them, right?
Yes, yes.
But now we can cut away because I know you're excited about the pizza delivery part of this movie. And it really is like, it's the pizza delivery part, and then the rest of the movie is just fighting. Like, the pizza delivery part to me was like, okay, this is so great. Like, this is what you have to do before the end of this movie, and that's kind of all it is. It's pizza delivery, fighting, roll credits.
Well, this is part of his plan, right? And
Yeah.
again, we forget. There's all these other subplots. There's the bad guy that wants Leroy. There's Sure Enough that wants Leroy. There's the romance happening. But we forget Leroy's mission is to find the wisest man, who he thinks is this fortune cookie guy. So he is going back to these three, the Beastie
Yes.
Boys, as you said, who are what he
Yeah.
thinks is guarding.
These other things, the fact that people are trying to murder him is the most minor inconvenience to
He
Leroy
has got
on
a
his
goal.
quest
Yeah,
to
on
this
his quest. Yeah.
cookie factory. Like, it's hilarious.
So he disguises himself as a pizza delivery guy.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, also trying to talk a little less like himself and trying to put on this different...
He's putting on the cool lingo. You know,
Yeah.
he knows how the kids talk, let's say.
Sure,
how the pizza
exactly.
delivery kids talk.
Right? So he gets in with these guys saying he was here to deliver this pizza for the master. It's the master
Right.
that ordered the pizza.
Yes.
And the guys kind of give him a bit of a runaround. They try to make him drink. They try to make him smoke.
Yeah,
They
there's a
want him to
lot of like, hey, let's go smoke weed and drink wine and play craps.
And play craps,
There's a lot
yeah.
going on here
Yeah.
in this factory while you're making fortune cookies. They eventually do lock him out. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll get the master. Just wait
Ooh.
outside. They lock
Yeah.
him out. Mm-hmm. But that's not a good idea because
He-
now he finally uses his martial arts skills for
Yes.
something other than saving Vanity.
He busts right into there,
Yeah.
knocks that door down with a karate chop. And now these guys feel more of the wrath of Leroy. They're like,
Right,
oh,
yes.
shit. What? He's like, show me the master. And then they confess that there is no master.
The master's
this is all
made up.
just, yeah.
And also the master's a machine. It's both, really.
He's made up, and it's a machine that makes fortunes. for
It's
the
the
fortune cookie.
tiniest machine. I was like,
Yeah.
how many fortune
It's
cookies?
like a label maker.
It really does. It's like they just outfitted a Xerox to make
Mm-hmm.
fortune cookies. I just found it hilarious how they're in this giant factory and in the back room is this tiny machine that makes the cookies.
Which they're guarding and claiming. And who
Yeah.
else was there thinking that there was a master that they were guarding besides Leroy?
I don't understand. Like, I don't get it because they're like, we just make it up to help with
Yeah.
the selling of the fortune cookies. No, none of it makes sense. And I really thought for some reason like he was going to recruit these guys as part of his gang now, as part of his fun posse.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
no, that's not what happens. He's now so upset about this. He needs to go talk to his master.
Oh, that's right.
This guy should have gotten out of town when he had his chance.
That's right. And the master's like, he is just trying to leave. He's like, listen, I got a flight I got to catch. What is it that you want? He keeps poking at Leroy, keeps poking
Yeah.
at his head and going, but he's insisting that what Leroy is searching for and what,
Right.
we come to find out is that it's inside of you, Leroy.
Right,
If
yes.
you stop searching so hard, you'll realize it's right under your nose.
Yeah.
And I
That's
just
why he
made,
gives him
made
an
up.
empty fortune cookie. You are the fortune. But he doesn't
Right.
even say these things. Everything's so ambiguous. And
Right.
like, if he just said that to him, I feel like Leroy would be like, oh,
He'd pick
yeah,
up
I
on it,
get
yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
It's just, I think he's literally in the middle of packing. Like, I think this guy is putting stuff in a suitcase when Leroy shows
He
up.
is. He's like, I'm going to Miami. I'm not sticking around. What do you need?
Oh.
You're supposed to be on your mission. I'm not a part of it. Remember, I told you our work is done.
Yeah. And he's even like, what about Bruce Lee's medallion? He's like, oh, that belt buckle I gave you, you dummy.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't figure
I
out
needed
it was a
to
belt
give you
buckle?
something. He says, I needed to give you something. It was all part of the story. Just go. Be on your way. Yeah. And Leroy's like, well, what? Oh, in the meantime, Angela, the bad guy's girlfriend, has now come to give a warning
To the
to
studio.
Leroy.
Yes.
But stumbles upon Johnny instead and says, you got to warn Leroy that my boyfriend's going to do something bad to him. So
I needed these two to get together at the end of this movie.
I
have to
know,
say.
same here. I
really
wanted
thought
to
that
see
was gonna
them
happen.
dancing yeah, me too.
Yep.
Me
Yep.
too.
All right. So yeah, she basically gives the warning to Johnny,
Yes.
and then Leroy comes back to the studio, and this is where Johnny then informs him, "Hey, there's some bad shit happening down at Seventh
Yeah.
Heaven. I'm gonna go with you." And I like how it's kind of a fun sort of insult. Because Leroy doesn't need any weapons to hurt these guys. And he's like, hey, Johnny, are you really going to come down here without weapons?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, yeah. And he locks him in the weapons closet. It's kind of fun. And he goes away. Now, I have a question about this. This little kid, who's one of the most important people at the end
Adorable.
of this movie, have we seen him before this?
Yeah, he was in the class earlier when it
Oh,
was chaos
okay.
class,
All right.
and Shonuff showed up. Yeah, but he's really
gets-
key right now.
He gets all the screen time at the end
yeah.
of this movie.
Yeah, he's pretty cute too. He's got
Oh,
all
yeah.
these moves and these.
Yep.
Yeah,
Super great.
yeah, but he doesn't really play a bigger part until now. He's kind of a
Right,
background
okay.
student.
All right.
Until
I didn't
now.
think they just introduced him at the end of the movie, but I didn't remember him before this.
He was there, but again, there was a group of
Right.
kids his age there
There's
too.
so many kids,
Yeah.
most of them overweight.
Yeah, most of them not taking their karate seriously. Not as seriously as Leroy does, at least. Well, Leroy goes down to Seventh Heaven Studios, and sure enough, his brother and
Vanity.
I was going to call her Diana. I don't know why.
She looks so much like Princess Di, I guess.
I don't know. They have been kidnapped, but this weird bad guy really goes a little crazy. He projects himself on these giant screens. That poor Leroy had just seen his idol
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Lee on, and now it's the bad guy's spooky face on the screen.
Yeah, I have no idea how he's doing this.
Me
don't,
either.
He knows how to work all the controls. I was like, you
Yeah.
should have gotten a job for Vanity.
Yeah.
Or from Vanity, and maybe you could have snuck that tape into her hand.
Because
You
you're
know
good.
what you're doing
yeah,
in a
exactly.
control booth.
You clearly do. But yeah, he's got like a message
Hmm.
for Leroy, and is basically like, get ready, because
Yeah.
I got some guys that I've hired to beat the shit out of you, and it's all going to happen here, like pretty much on Seventh Heaven stage.
I liked how I assumed there was a deleted scene after this, because you see Richie and Vanity tied up back to back,
Mm-hmm.
and Vanity looks at him and like raises her eyebrows and then whispers something to him.
Oh, yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
comes of it. Like,
No.
there's
Well, and
no
I love it.
plan or any of it.
They take her away or something, and they leave Richie, but Richie
Yeah.
sort of breakdances
Oh,
his
when he
way out of
breakdances
the...
out of his ropes, I thought that was really
Me
fantastic.
too. Loved it. But no, shit. So now this is when you see a bunch of these different goons that they've hired come
Yeah.
out, sort of surround Leroy.
He's surrounded by goons,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's kind of like a one at a time fight, a
Yes,
basic
he takes
karate
them
fight.
down,
They
yeah.
run in, he kicks them, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But in the meantime, a tiny child rescues Johnny, gets him out of that closet, and Johnny's like, we got to get the
We
crew
gotta go.
together.
Yeah.
We got to put children's lives in danger here to go help Leroy.
We got to help Leroy. Here we go.
Yep.
And they do this.
Yeah.
It looks like the whole school comes, but we really only see Johnny and the kid fighting.
You're right though. A ton of kids run
Yeah.
in here, and none of them know karate. So
No.
we just kind of focus on three of them:
Yes.
Johnny, this little kid, and Leroy, and they kind of just kick the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. Everybody just comes. Even there's some badass punk Santa Claus looking guy.
Yeah, why
that
was
shows
Santa
up.
Claus in,
I don't know.
in here pretty late? And he seems to have a hard time getting around. I was
Yeah,
like, I don't,
yeah.
this guy doesn't seem that scary
He shouldn't
at all.
have. Yeah, he shouldn't have made the cut, but he does.
No, he does.
So yeah, they it's not long before they make quick work of these thugs.
Yep.
And now the bad guy has got Vanity, and he's like, ha ha ha, follow me now, Leroy. I'm not done yet. So sure enough, Leroy follows him into this factory.
Yep.
Where again, the bad guy's like, the show isn't over yet, and now we have Show Enough shows up.
Yeah, like his.
Oh, and Richie's put behind in a cage somewhere. Richie's followed them, but he's
Well, Leroy locks him up again.
Oh, that's
like,
what it is.
Leroy's
Okay.
locking everyone up in this movie. Not again, because he locked Johnny up before. This time he locks Leroy up so he won't
Yeah.
get hurt. And yeah, he like beats up a couple members of Shonough's crew. But then Shonuff shows up and something that we find out that he has superpowers at this point in the movie.
Yes.
This comes out of nowhere. His
That's
hands
amazing.
are glowing.
That's
It's
amazing.
really amazing.
Sure enough, has his hands get red. I think he is outlined in red. Well,
Yeah.
because he believes in himself. He believes in himself enough that
Right,
he's got
yes.
this magical glowing power.
Yeah. But
that
it does
makes
feel
him-
like I'm watching Scott Pilgrim. Like at this point in
it's
the movie.
wonderful
It's
though.
like-
It's so wonderful. It's like this weird.
oh yeah,
twist
no,
now
it's
that-
fantastic.
Yeah. But so, sure enough, is kicking ass for a little bit. Leroy's down, down, down. Leroy's going down, right? Because sure enough's got this
Right.
this power here. These glowing red hands, and
yes.
this red flame that comes scouting out of him.
But he dunks him. Like he gets to the point where he's dunking Leroy's head in this big thing of gross water.
Yeah,
I
not
like how the
piranha
bad
water.
guys. I like how the bad guy's like hiding behind a corner and every now and then just yells out, "Just drown him!"
Yeah.
just drown him. But he keeps dunking him and pulling his head up, and every time he dunks him, he gets a flashback. I don't know if there's scenes we've seen in this movie or it's just stuff that has happened off camera. Let's say.
I think, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But he's then inspired because he realizes that the
Well, while he's dunking, he keeps saying, "Who's the master? Who's the master?" Because
yes.
he wants him to say that sure enough's the master.
right.
But
right.
then it all comes together. The circle is coming back around.
Uh-huh,
The master's words ring true, and he realizes he is the master. If he just
Right.
believes in himself, and then Leroy starts to glow.
He does. Not an evil red.
Beautiful orange. No, like
Yes,
an
right,
illuminating.
like a lovely flesh
Yeah.
tone. But also, we also know he believes in himself now because a song called "The Last Dragon"
Oh,
Rap
yeah.
starts playing, and it's like, if you're glowing, you're gonna kick ass or something. I don't
It's all
know
gonna
what he's
happen
saying,
for you. It's all
but
gonna.
Yeah, and he's
And we get
so
some
excited with himself too. Like he's
Oh,
so
yeah.
proud of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's really no contest. He's fighting him. There's lots of sparks when he punches him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All sorts
Magic.
of great stuff.
Some slow motion kicks.
Yep.
And yeah, he sure enough is dumped, well not dumped, kind of kicked and punched and into the tank. He
Into the
falls.
water,
Into
yes.
the water tank. But the bad guy's like, I could still end this. I got a gun.
I got a gun.
I don't have
We're
to
gonna
do
end this
fancy-
movie with a 45. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what he says.
Yeah, he does. And now he shoots the gun, and now at some point I guess Richie got out, and now Richie
Right.
and Vanity are both no.
Right. The bad
he
guy's
go-
very proud of himself.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
walks over, flips him over, isn't distressed at all that there's no blood or bullet holes or anything. He's still so happy.
Yeah.
But then we see something that was so teased in a way where I didn't even pay attention to it early in this movie when he talked about it. But he caught the bullet like Penn and Teller between his teeth.
Yes.
And then he gets up and puts some chain around this guy and like hoists him up.
Yeah. And the guy the whole time is like, no, stop. And he doesn't even say anything. Leroy doesn't have time for like shit talking. He just hoists him up and is like, all right, We're out of here. The cops come.
Yeah.
Vanity's hair and makeup team show up, and they're like, "You're late. Where have you been? We got a show to film." They're not even the least bit concerned that she was just kidnapped for the third time.
They really do show up like, we've been looking everywhere for you.
Yeah.
Not talking about the potential corpses that are all over Seventh Heaven's floor.
No. We're not even worried about all those fighters that are just all beat up. And we got to get you, the dancers are ready, and we got to get you out there and on stage.
Yeah.
And then
we end the movie.
We have
with
a little dance number. Yeah.
It's not a competition.
No.
Not a contest.
No, just a little finale, a dance finale for us.
They're all dressed in matching white outfits, though, for some reason.
It's regal, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Leroy shows up with some flowers, and he and
I love how he
Vanity
shows up
dance.
with flowers and immediately throws them in the air. Just
throws the
bouquet in the air. It's destroyed. Yeah. And was I not watching properly? Did I see something that wasn't here? When they embrace, do they float up?
Yeah, they're on some kind of stage. They're on some kind of...
I thought it was the power of the dragon that allowed them to float into the air. Okay.
They're on some kind of stage thing, and they're like elevated above everybody else. But,
oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that is how this movie ends.
That's The Last Dragon.
Last Dragon. Do I even need to ask you if you enjoyed this movie? I will.
You can ask, and I will tell. I most certainly enjoyed this movie. Yes. Yes. And you as well?
Yeah. It's just one of those, like... It's one of those ones where it's just like, oh, that's why we do this podcast, is to discover these things that it's just... At every turn, I was like, why would anybody do... Like, why would you think this is a good idea for a movie? Why would you cast half of these people and be like,
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure once the cameras start rolling, they'll be able to act. But even, like, the non-acting of Leroy was so wonderfully balanced.
It all works.
Sho'nuff just, like, chewing scenery and yelling and screaming his way through this. It's so much fun.
It's a delight.
I will watch this again. This is definitely something I'll watch again.
I agree.
Oh, wow. All right. So, folks, for long-time listeners, I decided to make a change to the podcast.
Oh,
it doesn't
right.
really matter. But it's getting tougher and tougher for me to find recommendations that relate to what we're doing. Mm-hmm. I watch so many movies that I'm just like, well, I can't talk about this. I can't mention this, blah, blah, blah. So from now on, episode 151 on, we're just going to recommend movies. They don't have to have anything to do with dragons or medallions or vanities. If we want to, we can, but it doesn't need to be that way.
Right.
So with this new criteria... Pins and needles, what would you like to recommend?
Well, interestingly enough, when you told me this new criteria, I was like, this works for me because I don't usually recommend anything that has anything to do with the movie we watched anyway. But in this case, it kind of does relate. But I feel like I might have recommended this before. The Eddie Murphy movie that just came out, well, not just came out, I think it was like 2018 or that Dolomite Is My Name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny and clever and great, and Dolomite with the karate, so similar in that way, and silly and fun.
There are hints of that in this, definitely.
Yes. So,
did you ever, I mean, just from watching that, did it pique your interest enough to watch Dolomite? Like the original?
Yeah, it did. I haven't watched it. I actually do think that I've seen it in college. Like, I feel like it's been on in the background.
Okay. All right.
But I never said, that's why, I feel like
I'd be interested in hearing. I don't like. It's one of those movies that people talk about, and I was like, I'll finally watch this, but it's just a bad movie, and I don't. It's just bad. I don't. You weren't into it. The appeal. I like the Eddie Murphy one.
Because it's so bad. Yeah, the Eddie Murphy one. That's the one I'm recommending.
Yes.
So, and for yourself, now that you're out of this box criteria, where freedom? Where are you?
Recently watched a movie called The Garment Jungle.
Oh.
It's from 1957. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed it because it's kind of like, It's a movie like On the Waterfront where it's just about unions and tough guys and the mob and stuff like that. But it's all centered around a garment district. And at every turn, the character's like, kid, you'll never know what's going to happen here. It's the garment district. I'm like, you're making
Fashion
dresses.
friendly,
And
yeah.
you're all just talking so tough. And it also has such a young Robert Loggia in it to the point where I did not recognize him.
Oh.
And his name came up and I went, oh my God, who was he?
Which one was he? Yeah.
And it's just like, you can barely recognize him. And it's just interesting to see a young Robert Loggia. I should have recommended it had I watched it before we did Over the Top.
Oh,
So that's my recommendation.
excellent.
Now, I don't know if you're prepared, and I really
Oh.
should have let you know that this is going to be our next movie. But in case listeners don't know, you're moving. You will have already moved by the time people are listening to this, but we're going to do our next recording will be from your new digs, let's say.
Yeah, new digs.
So because of that, you get to choose we talked about a moving-based movie or a Georgia-based movie or even an Atlanta-based movie. And I know I threw out some bizarre suggestions to you, but ultimately, it's your choice. So what are we doing?
The Money Pit.
The Money Pit will be our next episode. And
Yep.
I really, again, thank you, Christian. This was so much fun.
Much appreciated, Christian.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
Just
And,
big high
yeah.
fives.
And just from communicating with you through, not Twitter, what's the other one? Instagram. I know that this was the last one that he really knew he wanted to do. Like, he said he had them all lined up. Like, he was like,
Well, he
you're gonna
saved
watch
the best
DC
for
Cab.
last.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're going to watch DC Cab. You're going to watch Flash Gordon. You're going to watch The Last Dragon. So you know what, Christian? You have a year to come up with something else. Like, you've
Yeah.
used up all of yours already. So think long and hard, and we'll cover another one from you next year.
And I don't mean to put the pressure on, but we expect greatness. Because
Yeah, we expect greatness.